But first up, I wanted to deal with an issue, and I really wanted us to kick off this final show talking to someone who is part of the new government who has implemented a change and some changes that I know are very important to a lot of our audience and issues we have talked about for some time. That is the new Education Minister, Erica Stanford, who has announced this week a new ministerial consultation group to look at the curriculum in primary and intermediate schools in regards to, well, the basics of what we need to learn to be able to learn and perceive our world. Also, she's announced that the government will go ahead on the ban or the removal of cell phones from students during school hours, which I think is absolutely one of the best things this government could do, and in line with all the new international research about the impact of smartphones on learning amongst young people, particularly the work that we've highlighted here of Professor Jonathan Haidt from the United States. But there are other issues too in the portfolio, so without further ado, a very warm welcome for the first time as Minister to Erica Stanford. Erica, welcome to the platform and congratulations on your appointment.
Thank you very much and good morning.
All right. Like many other ministers, you appear to have hit the ground running. Did you have a plan of what to do? Were you working away while the coalition negotiations were on, whether as the prospective minister or not, so that you could come out so quickly with what appears to be a change in emphasis or direction in education?
We've been thinking about this for a long time. This has been set in motion for some time. The team that I worked with spent last summer working on all of our policies and doing a lot of thinking, so we knew exactly what we needed to do when we came to office. Of course, there are some things that I wasn't expecting that we've had to tidy up, but we knew immediately what the 100-day plan was, and we know very clearly that we have to get our curriculum in shape. We have to make sure that there are effective pedagogies in place, and also that we're assessing our kids' progress along the way. So those are the three foundational things that we'll be working on over the next 3 years. There's a lot of other things, but those are the core things that will drive us.
Okay, and core to that is this ministerial advisory group or consultation group you have set up. If you've been doing all that work, why do you need to consult with anyone?
Well, because I'm not a curriculum expert, Sean, and neither are the people that I've been working closely with, but we know people who are excellent, and we knew we were always going to need their input. And one thing we learned over the last couple of years by reading quite a bit of research, and in particular a piece of research from one of New Zealand's finest principals around the need for curriculum experts to design curriculum hand in hand with good principals and teachers and academics, but curriculum experts. That's what we need to put in place. So that's what this group is about. You'll see it's got a mix of literacy, numeracy, great principles, but also curriculum experts. Yeah,
it seems to me it's designed to bridge the gap between the theoretical of a curriculum and how it would be implemented and taught in the classroom because of the breadth of people you've got on it.
Yes, and that's the design and structure of the three documents is also to do that. There are three documents. The first one is the Common Practice Model, which basically sets out the overall vision for the type of pedagogy that we follow, so that the science of learning, which is what we will be implementing. And then the document that sits under that is the how you teach, so that everything put into a scope and a sequence. So making sure that you're learning the essential building blocks of mathematics, for example, in the right order with the right sequence. And then the curriculum document as well, which is the broad document that says this is what will be taught and when. So it's the what and the how, and then the overarching idea of how that all fits together. Okay,
as is normal, it would seem, for this government, no sooner had you made the announcement around that consultative group that the trolls and the news media started criticising it. Firstly, in the broad sense that it's not inclusive and it's anti-Māori. Would you care to address those criticisms in a general sense?
Well, Melissa Derby, who's in there, is Māori, and she is one of New Zealand's leading literacy experts. And we were very intentional about putting her on there because of her incredible skill and formidable reputation in that area. So I would argue that that's not the case at all.
All right. Also, I guess Elizabeth Rata has been singled out by the left for particular criticism. What is her role?
She's a curriculum expert and probably New Zealand's leading curriculum expert. In fact, she has designed an entire English curriculum from years 0 to 13. And why, you wouldn't put her in that group, I don't know. She is probably the leading curriculum expert in New Zealand. And like I say, she's already done a lot of the work. She has an excellent reputation in that area, and so we put her on there.
Mm. It would also seem this is a no-nonsense approach, Minister, that if you like, political philosophy or political correctness is not going to play a part in the new curriculum. It is about the nuts and bolts of teaching and learning.
Yep, you summed it up beautifully. We have a burning platform, Sean. Half of our kids at age 15 are not doing well in literacy and numeracy, worse than not doing well, I'd argue. 42% of our kids at the end of year 8, after 8 years of schooling, are not at curriculum for mathematics. And there are many parts to this puzzle, but a big part of it is not having a clear, defined curriculum that lays out what you need to teach and a really clear guide of how you should teach that, with it, as I said earlier, in which order you must learn things at which level to make sure that you are mastering the basics. It's been missing. We want to create that document to support our incredible teachers, and it will be, a no-nonsense document of how to get our kids to curriculum.
Yeah. To teach kids, however good the curriculum, they've got to be at school. Do you also have plans to address the truancy problem we've had and the non-attendance problem that has grown over the years?
Yes, we do, and it was really disappointing yesterday to see the Term 3 results, which were slightly worse than the Term 2 results, and also on par with our terrible results from last year. So despite spending tens of millions of dollars in fancy ad campaigns saying, every day counts, and none of that has shifted the dial, and we can see parent attitudes. Only 41% of parents think that it's okay to miss a weaker term. And we know cumulatively over time, that means a whole year missed by the time you reach 16. So there will be a change in approach from this government. We will be very intentional about what we will say to parents and in schools around attendance. And you will see at the moment everything's on the table. We are considering everything. But we have had, you'll see in the coalition document, it says that we will be ensuring that there is ongoing reporting of data more regularly and also enforcement actions taken. All
right. Phones, cell phones, smartphones in schools, many good schools, and gosh, we've done 2 or 3 sessions on this here on the platform. And every parent in every school that's implemented this policy voluntarily says it's had a positive effect on their institution, on the learning environment. You plan to have this in all state schools nationally introduced by Term 2 next year?
We do. It's my expectation, though, that most schools will have it implemented Term 1, Day 1. We've put a note out in the bulletin to say that is our expectation. However, there is a legal requirement for schools to consult on how they're going to implement the off and away all day policy with their communities. That'll happen in Term 1, but the regulations will come into force in Term 2. And you're right, it was a real no-brainer for us. Even the students at those schools all reported saying, actually, we're obviously at first a bit, not that excited by it, but after it had been put in place, the comments from students that have been reported are overwhelmingly good about the fact that they're actually engaging more and talking to their friends more, learning more about their friends, playing games at lunchtime, and all of those social interactions that we want to encourage to have, healthy kids.